Hello, and welcome to another episode of Turning Sparkly Cardboard Sideways. My name's Jimmy, Bancroft is behind the camera, and right here will be my personal phone number, 859-279-2405. If you have any questions, concerns, critiques on any deck profile or battles we post, please feel free to send me a message, or if you just want to say hi or share some of your deck tech, deck list ideas, please send me a message, and I'll try to reply as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack on Production. Today I, Bancroft, will be going over a duel that I was part of and no one else part of this lobby, but Fluff is here to join as well.
Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're going to see if AoD can keep up with current decks of the format.
And let me tell you, this duel was a nail-biter. Before we get into that, like always, hit that subscribe, hit that like if you enjoy our content, and hit that bell to let yourselves know when we drop more content, which is practically every day. And also, starting yesterday, I started doing a video game series as well onto our channel, which comes every night at 10 o'clock. So if you want to see that, check it out. Tonight, I am continuing my ventures on Carrion. There we go, which is a reverse horror game. But just because there's more content coming to the channel does not necessarily means we're getting rid of Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super will still be at least 6 times a week, if not more. So that's not going anywhere. It is still here for you all to enjoy.
Yeah, and if there's something that you all want to see me do that's not Dragon Ball related, let me know. I've been kind of torn about a project to get involved in. So, but before we get into this, I just have to comment on this dude's sleeves. Like, those are dope.
They're pretty nice. So I was able to pull off in my opinion, the best turn 1 play for Skill-Less Gohan, which is also a deck I didn't think I would be interested in playing in at all either. And you play the Piccolo, who turns around and pulls another Skill-Less from the top of the deck, top 7 to be exact. So turn 1 for 1 energy, I get 2 battle cards on the field.
Yeah, it's, I've been really torn about Gohan. Couldn't decide if it was going to be good or not. Like, it obviously looks like it's going to draw an absolute ton and just maintain like a fat hand throughout the entirety of a duel. But relying on 10k battle cards to make an impact in the game has always had me kind of on the fence. But after seeing you kind of test this, I really enjoy it.
And keep in mind, there are 2 cards in this deck that actually makes those Skill-Less 20ks.
Yes.
And one of those cards makes my Piccolo a 10k instead of a 5k.
So it boosts the Piccolo as well.
It boosts all 1-drops on your board.
Ooh.
That's a unison to be exact. All right, so he swung with Leader, took the life, searched the card. He did not get a Bobbity or a Hatchiak, unfortunately.
That is really unfortunate. AoD not being able to set up that turn 1 Bobbity is so detrimental, especially in a matchup where I feel like his ability to run counters and control this matchup is really dependent on whether he has that on board to make them.
And keep in mind, Skill-Less Gohan, which I love, as long as you have a Skill-Less battle card on the field, he gets plus 5,000 power. So, yeah. And this card reminds me so much, I mentioned in my profile, of old Stormfist Krillin, because you swing, draw a card, and you pick up a card. And on the backside, you have opportunity to draw twice, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, because you draw on swing, and then you draw if there's a monster in your combo area during its battle, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's
during
the leader's battle,
Yeah, as long as the leader's part of the battle, if you come up with a monster card, you get to draw one. So here, I'm just like, cool, I'll play another Skill-Less, I'll swing with that, getting the board ready. I did not have another Piccolo. I was hoping I could get one so I could awaken on this turn, but I did not see one, which is very unfortunate. And you know what? He can awaken himself, so I'm just going to go all out. I'll get him there himself for him. Gohan likes to go either super early, try to defend middle, and then finish big in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. The mid-range play for this deck is not all that impressive.
Yeah. It's just more about holding off.
Right. It's more about surviving, using your massive hand advantage to...
Oh, so here real quick. So Joe, he hasn't been to the shop in a while, and I was just reminding him to make sure his energies return in certain directions, because there have been past duels, not at our locals. No one at our locals has ever done it, but I've seen it happen on like big tournaments where people would have their energy turn a certain way and just slide into the battlefield or slide their battle card into the energy.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, just make sure you keep the energy a certain direction, just for safety purposes.
Yeah, it was nice to have them back out. I think it's been a while since we've seen Joe, and then he brought, I guess his name was Sean out, I believe, and hadn't seen them in a while. And it was nice to see some fresh, or reoccurring faces from way back when. It was nice to see that.
So here, he said pass, and he's like, "Oh wait, I forgot to do something." And I was like, "You know what? That's okay. I'll let you do it." I've gotten to have it on myself though. If I do a play or if I pass turn, I'm not gonna add it. Like, I'm done. Like even if I go, "Oh, I meant to do this instead," because you just gotta get in that habit. Unfortunately, but he hasn't been out in a while. I don't know how often they get a chance to play, so I want to make sure they get to fully enjoy the battle the best they possibly can.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also a good idea to keep in mind, like, it is locals. Locals should be considered as, like, the all-purpose training ground. If you are a competitive player, use your locals as a training ground to fine-tune your decks, to, what are misplays against certain matches, what are more optimal plays against other matches. And like, don't punish yourself too hard on misplays at locals. Just use them as learning experiences. If you have a really copacetic opponent that is like, hey, yeah, you can go ahead and take that back. Just use it as a learning experience. Don't.
One point real quick. So I told him to tap his energy because I forgot how he didn't specify how he was doing Majin Buu. So here real quick, we correct that because I'm the one who told him to tap his energy when he played his battle card because he didn't specify I'm using leader's ability. But he meant that, and that's why he didn't tap it. He just didn't say it, so I let him have that as well. Just, good sportsmanship.
Yeah, of course. And if you're a competitive player and you're in a large event, feel free to rule shark on that because people will rule shark you. But if you're just at locals, give each other the misplays, let them correct it as long as the game hasn't moved to an unchangeable state.
So here I'm about to wait. Wait, hang on a second. I didn't look at my hand. I didn't look at the cards yet, so I don't know what they're on top. I wanted to call a swing first. Now, Grant, I know I just said something about making calls, but I didn't fully go into that yet. I was like, I'm going to wait. Yeah, hold on a second.
And I also wonder. So he's now starting to kind of get that traditional AoD board. Building up. And at this point, you do run yellow. You've got, the benefit of cards like Flying Nimbus. If you can board a Unison, you'll have Prideful Transformation. But if you're not able to establish answers to this could become a problem for you in subsequent turns.
So, activating Leader's top effect, draw one card, and I get to play a Skill-Less battle card from the field.
Yeah, it's so easy to play out these 10,000s in this deck. It almost does it.
And keep in mind,
effortlessly.
I would have. He didn't negate, swing, awaken during the combo step. So I walked away to ask Jimmy a question real quick, and he was showcasing his hand because he just wanted everyone to know that he had a Xenocell in his hand, and that's what he was going for.
Yep, trying to pop out that Xenocell as fast as possible.
And I went to go ask Jimmy a question about a certain card, just to make sure I had the rolling correct on it, because there's been a lot of there's a certain the new Unison is permanent negate skills. The concern with that though is that when battle cards are played, their autos still procced, and then their skills are negated. Do those autos resolve? No. At least as of right now, that's what we've been told by Bandai.
Yeah.
Or at least another in one of the judge groups was kind of how it was laid out. The auto still procs, but because the permanent's effects go into are always there, it never resolves. Is that how it was phrased?
Yeah, you've got to kind of think of them in spell speeds. So permanents are faster than autos. So once the permanent is active, it's like a blanket active effect. It doesn't have to activate and resolve in competition with an auto So that effect is always in play as long as the conditions to meet that permanent are in play.
Yeah.
So the auto will trigger, but the auto will not resolve.
Correct. And I debate about playing that card this turn. You know, it would make it a lot harder for him to get cards out. But then I would be tapped out. And then I would have to worry about doing a -2 so he wouldn't attack as much. So as you can see, I did charge begin this particular round a Flying Nimbus. Now, Fluff, you know me. If I charge a Flying Nimbus, what does that mean?
It means you've got a Flying Nimbus in hand.
So I figure it'd be best in the end, whenever I decide to end my turn, there it was, to hold off because I don't need to worry about playing the use and tapping out. I can just use a Flying Nimbus in my hand and go from there. And there he is fixing his energy again.
I think one of the biggest mistakes you can make against agents is overextending your board from the aspect of like, you didn't need to board the Unison right now. So you didn't waste your energy doing so, especially if it meant that he was going to get 5 or 6 attacks on you over the course of this turn, especially if you don't resolve that -2 on the Unison. So,
and being so smart and KOing my 1-drops really annoys me.
Yeah.
But he learned quick how to play against this deck. And I played AoD for a solid 3 weeks. So, like, that's all I played.
But for a whole 3 weeks?
Okay, I still play it. But I took it to our locals for like 3 weeks in a row. Yeah. And so, like, I know how to play against this deck. I know it's going to ramp up pretty big. So it just hurts not being able to get that extra draw.
When, you know, and right now, towards completing his Xenocell, I think he's at 9. Because Garlic
2.
Is Garlic a 2?
Yes.
Okay. So he's at 8.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he did make one of the biggest mistakes you can make against a yellow deck is swinging with the leader first.
Mm-hmm.
Because in this case, I was able to find him, so he can only attack one more time with battle cards. Now, I mentioned in the rounds, like I kind of explained, like, yeah, so you only attack one more time for your battle cards. If you wanted to use leader's bottom effect to play your Unison, if you have it in your hand, then you could attack with your Unison just fine.
Yeah.
And he opted not to play the Unison. So, because he was I think he realized if he played it, tapped out, he could be in a bad situation.
Yeah. And you know, playing that Unison at this point where you're at right now, it's basically gonna just pop a 1-drop on your field that's not really doing anything for you.
Yeah.
He would be better off holding that Unison and resolving that Unison's effect. You know, maybe wait for you to board a 6-drop Gohan. Wait for you to board 2 or 3 Skill-Less. Wait until that matters. So it can be a entire tempo shift against you.
So he plays Andrew 13 because it has crit. I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing here. No negate. Since it means 3 Sand 2 energy, which is very smart. So that way he has something to defensively.
Yep. And you know, yellow is a deck that you can safely go wide against. Yellow doesn't have a ton of spot or wide removal. I'll say that. They may have a card here or there, like the 7-drop Gotenks, that might pop a card here or there. But yellow is going to struggle a lot with clearing out. What has he got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relevant battle cards. One of them, not so much for battle, but being a play enabler.
Yeah.
And the card in your hand is the reason that swinging with the leader first against yellow is kind of a calculated play, because had he swung with a battle card first, you would have tapped his leader down, prevent the draw.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned earlier, just for clarification, if you haven't seen my profile yet, I go over why I play Zamasu over a draw combo. This deck draws enough, in my opinion. Now, granted, been talking to Jimmy, and I completely forgot about the red-green Android 18.
Yeah.
And going into Cell Xeno. So in my current deck profile, I go into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. But I'm thinking of switching it up, going to Dr. Jiro instead to go for the Arrival. Potentially, I have to mess with it. But to Arrival and then go into Cell Xeno with this deck.
You know, and that wouldn't be bad either. As easily as you can spit out 1-drops, I think you can easily play 3 1-drops in a turn And then if you can arrival into the big 9-drop cell, not the not the successor cell, but the arrival one from set 10, that's instantly a Xeno cell for you.
Yeah.
For basically 2 energy, I think you would end up needing to pay.
So here I'm debating about playing that Unison. Like, I'm trying to figure out how bad is next turn. You know, I don't know. I put my energy face down just, and it was. I think I just let go of him as I'm trying to like debate what's the best option here. So I go ahead and tap the 3, and he jumped the gun a little bit. And I was like, it's a Unison, not a battle card. You can't do that. And I was kind of just making sure he's aware of how certain things work. But now everything's skillless.
Yeah. So now nothing has a skill on it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, may not be bad. That turns on your prideful transformations, which is going to let you counterplay and tap down.
Yeah.
You won't get the blocker aspect of it, but
I think a misplay's coming up, actually. That I did not catch it during the duel. And I'm thinking about it right now, actually.
Uh-oh.
Nothing major. So I'm going to start swinging, if I'm correct, into his Android 13. But let's go ahead and free play this. He chose not to play Android 13. I can't remember if Android 13's auto is what pops the card. I think it does. It's not part of the...
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. The counter play is just play the card. No. Hold on. I will look, and I will find out for you.
So, but right now, my 1-drop Gohan is 15k. The Piccolo is 10k. So, and I'm going to go ahead and swing into, if I'm correct, it's 13, so I swing into.
Okay. So, Android 13 counterplay, if your leader's agent or destruction card in its name, the battle card being played as an energy cost 3 or less, place this under its drop area instead of being played. Play this card. Then your opponent choose 1 card in their hand and discards it. And then it has an auto when this card is played. Shuffle up to 2 evil wizard cards and or cards with agent their names from your drop area to your top.
Yeah. So here I was explaining he can still play. There it is. Yeah. So technically, he would have to pay 2 energy for that.
Yeah, because the Bobbity does not reduce. Unless the Bobbity says that its skills can't be negated, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
It can reduce. That was a misplay there that I did not catch during our duel. I just told him, like, yeah, the auto doesn't go off. Because it's not the leader that reduces the energy cost. It's the 1-drop Bobby on the board. So,
and even right now, he's really outpacing you as far as field presence.
Yeah. And so here's my situation. I swung a Piccolo into 13 as well. And I thought about doing the Zamasu super combo to tap his 1-drop because it doesn't have barrier anymore. And then I was going to swing into that. But then I realized I might need this card.
Yeah. Those Zamasus are definitely better. They're definitely better on the defensive end of things.
Yeah. So that's why I chose not to combo against it and just leave it how it was.
Unless it's something like a turn 1 Kid Coup, just keep those super combos.
Yeah.
Like, is, you know, Kid Coup, you can rest down, KO it pretty easily with the lead, and then go on, and it really slows those down. You would just be destroying, like, he's already set up. I mean, he can't play another Turles. I don't think he can play. I don't think there are any more uniques on field. But he's got
Turles. Is Turles unique?
Turles does have unique.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
All
right, so I went and did -2 on the Unison. I have 1 open energy. I have to make sure I do everything right so I can survive. Because, I mean, I didn't have another Flying Nimbus in my hand. So that was my best choice. Like, okay, 1 leader strike, potentially Unison strike, and then a battle card strike. So 3 cards. I can hold off on that, hopefully, especially the fact that I had a Zamasu super combo in my hand.
You know, I do question charging your Nimbus, especially against Agent. Because I think having those multiple Nimbus, but depending on what was in your hand, that might have been the best charge for you. Yeah, I just know, having played against your agents before, having multiple Nimbus in hand is so important.
Correct.
matchup.
I think I as well. So he goes ahead and activates the bottom effect for leader. Get the unison out. I'm just double checking. He has to discard a card. So here he goes, discarding card real quick. Clears my board. So that's awesome.
Which does hurt.
Yeah, because once again, I cannot combo with that 1-drop.
Yeah.
And so here's what happened. He's like, double strike crit, I'm going to swing with unison. And then pauses. I'm like, okay, cool. Counterattack, I'm going to negate his skills. And then he's like, oh, I was going towards unison. I'm like, oh, okay. You know what? I called it. Whatever. Didn't cost me any energy. Sure. Whatever.
Yeah. You gotta be clear and concise when you're swinging. I had someone at our locals yesterday. I played the 2-drop black Mecha Kabura, and I had a unison on board, and he was like, battle card into Mecha Kabura. And I said, okay, no negates. He comboed 1 to get above the Mecha Kabura. And then I comboed 1 after, and he was like, well, you can't combo. I was like, well, why? He's like, well, it's a unison. You have to combo. You can't combo defensively with a unison. I was like, well, Mecha Kabura is a battle card, not a unison. And he was just, he in his mind, he was like, I'm going to get this. He's not going to be able to respond to it. It's going to be a reduced threat. But he was so used to like the yellow Mecha Kabura that he had done that. So you just have to be really clear when you're calling your attacks. Like, I'm attacking the Mecha Kabura battle card.
All right, so real quick. He swung with 13, but as he was mid-swing, he was like, hang on, wait, I can only attack one time. I'm like, yeah, you can only attack one more time. So he's successoring into the Xeno cell that he showed off earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, well, you don't have 5 energy. Also, he could have, instead of paying the energy, he could have used the leader's top effect. So he still kind of 1 open energy.
Yeah.
That's all good. And I have 4 life. He's going all out.
He dumps in on it. And so this is one thing that like you don't know unless from experience, but you never go all in on yellow if you're counting on a double strike or a triple strike to go off, because Vegeta's Final Flash will just turn off those skills. And you don't have to compete with the combo. So he basically comboed all of his handout, I think, on that. He comboed everything on the field.
He has 1 card in his hand.
Yep. So unless that's a sparking negate, you're basically going to get free swings on him. Yep. And you're running a yellow deck. So I can only assume that there is a real chance of 4-drop Mecha Kabura unison.
Well, he passes turn. I reset energy. He has 4 life. He has 1 card in his hand. And he has a unison. So he's tapped out. So the best bet is that it's either a Frieza or something else. But I do pay 4 energy for Mecha Kabura. And I was like, you gotta wait for me to clarify the card, man.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know why he restood his energy. I think that was an accident. I know that wasn't intentional.
Well, no, his energy was open. He tapped the energy when he played Frieza.
There's no, you don't
pay
energy for Frieza.
I'm aware of that. But
but
he tapped the energy when he threw the Frieza down.
The energy was already tapped. He tapped it for select.
Oh, okay.
So Mecha Kabura -4. I took his cell. Cell comes to my field. I have 5 energy since the card is technically being, if I'm correct the way it's worded, it's being played. I can't remember if it's from hand or not, but the card's being played. And if you have 5 energy, your opponent's supposed to discard 3 cards. He only had 1 card, but he uses a counterplay get on the board instead. But it's 40k. I swung. That's it. And I was showing him that I also had the Gogeta in my hand, and I had the Gotenks in my hand. So either way, that cell was gone if I didn't have Mecha Kabura.
Yeah, that was gone. I'm not sure if that auto resolves. That's kind of a weird one. I don't think that particular auto resolves when you're stealing it, because it's just changing positions on the field. I don't know. But I don't think that matters. It wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
He did not have enough to defend a 40,000 quad strike. That's the breaks when playing against yellow. If you drop a big bomb like that and they're able to survive and you go all in against it, there's a chance that Mecha Kabura is going to be relevant.
Yes. And in this case, I only played one in my deck, and it was actually the life that I got from that cell attack.
Oh,
When I
wow.
final flashed it, it took 1 damage. That
Wow.
was the life I took.
Man, that's perfect. That's the world telling you, like, do this now. I've lost after playing Xenocell and then, like, having the attack negated or something, and then someone dropping a Mecha Kabura. I think it was against a Sen Shenron player. But Mecha Kabura took it, and I just lost because I put all of my beans into that particular basket.
Yeah.
And yellow is just not making enough waves right now that people forget about stuff like Vegeta's Final Flash. People forget, Release from Evil's easy because, like, if you swing, Release from Evil, you just stop what you're doing. The attack goes through or it doesn't based on your opponent's discretion, but at least you don't combo everything out. Vegeta's Final Flash is dangerous.
Yep. So, that is today's duel. Hope you all enjoyed that. Yeah. He should have. I felt like he could have beat me. He could have.
Agents definitely can, but like you played yellow correctly. I mean, you've had enough experience with me where I was playing Topo with yellow. You've seen enough of what it can do to play around a lot of questionable situations. So like you just knew what to do. You made the right moves at the right time. You went off when you needed to. You reserved correctly when you didn't need to. Like you just played the game right.
And yeah, and I hope you all he's right. So don't have anything else to say. So let's go ahead and thank you for watching.
Hey, thanks guys so much. If you like what you saw, make sure to subscribe. If there's a particular deck profile that you want to see or a duel that you want to see between 2 different decks, or if you'd like us to break down a particular matchup or how to beat a certain archetype, make sure to leave us a comment below. But as always, make sure to reach cards, know your plays, and like always, fluff out.